motif in time. I will be discussing how time represents fate in Macbeth through the spiral effect of time as motif and by time's role as Macbeth's ultimate enemy. Before I begin, I would like to clarify a few points. First, according to the All-American Glossary of Literary Terms, a motif is a recurring object, concept, or structure in a literary work. Secondly, I will be referring to time as a spiderweb. This is because the reader's understanding of time depends on every usage of the word throughout the play. Therefore, all of the individual times are interconnected, therefore connoting various meanings to time as a whole, depending on when it is used, whom it is used by, and what it is used to represent. Additionally, this motif is used in the play 51 times by all of the important speaking characters except for Donalbain. But more than half of these are said by Macbeth, and more than half of the remaining are said to or about Macbeth. This indicates that time is specific to Macbeth throughout the play. And this makes sense because Macbeth's future is prophesied. In the beginning of the play, the witches tell us what is going to happen. They tell us that he's essentially going to kill the king, and he's going to ascend the throne, and then he's going to fall. But the others are wild cards. All the other characters have free will, and we, as an audience, don't know what they are going to do. First, in Act 1, Scene 1, time is immediately characterized in negative light. The witches say, "When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly is done? When the battle is lost and won? That will be ere the set of sun. Where the place? Upon the heath, there to meet with Macbeth." Now, technically, this passage doesn't say the word time. However, it opens up with the word when. They are asking when they will meet with Macbeth. This is heavily associated with time, and they're actually asking at what future time will this meeting take place. Also, they say ere the set of sun, which is a time, sunset. Now, it's a negative light for a couple reasons. One, witches are generally evil characters. They are in modern day times, and they are in Shakespeare's time. Additionally, back during Shakespeare's time period, thunder and lightning portended evil. They were indications that something evil was about to enter. And lo and behold, before the witches enter, thunder and lightning crash. Also, the most specific time given in this passage is ere the set of sun, which is sunset or the end of life or the end of a time period. So again, that's a very negative connotation. Next, in Act 1, Scene 7, lines 92 to 96, Macbeth says to his wife, "I am settled to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know." This last line, in line 96, is an equivocation. More importantly, it is the foul is fair equivocation from Act 1, Scene 1, line 12. This is important because it connects time and Macbeth to the foul is fair and to the witches and negatively characterizes it. Additionally, time literally here refers to the other things or the other people. And this sets a distinction between time and Macbeth because he is not included in this. Time is on the opposite side. Also, Macbeth is mocking the time. He's deceiving the time. Everyone here has friends. We all know diddles. Do you lie to your friends? No, you lie to your enemies. You deceive them. You don't deceive your friends. And this shows the animosity between time and Macbeth. Next, in Act 3, Scene 3, lines 6 through 10, Banquo is about to die. Here the murderers say, "The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveler apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch." Now, here, timely literally means opportune. We know this. Secondly, despite the rules of grammar, timely is defined by the word in, because the word in is used to represent the end of Banquo's ride, or the end of his road. Also, one sleeps at an inn, and sleep often represents death. So therefore, at the end of Banquo's ride, he will die. And this relates to timely and negatively characterizes it. But additionally, the spiderweb effect in action shows that timely, that shows and allows us to realize that in represents death, and therefore lends this passage a foreboding, because the reader realizes that Banquo is about to die. But also, this passage brings a new rule for time, because Banquo is spurred. He is the elated traveler, spurred apace to gain the timely end. Time is drawing him forward into the ambush, and this shows time as the motivator, or as the cause of the entire play. Next, time as the enemy. In Act 1, Scene 3, lines 163 to 164, Macbeth has just been greeted by King Duncan's men as the Thane of Cawdor, and here's when he decides that he is going to kill the king. He says, "Come what come may, time and hour runs through the roughest day." Now this is the spiderweb effect in action, because it shows that the witches are present in influencing Macbeth's decision, because we know that time is connected to the witches and is very evil. Secondly, there's foreshadowing here, because it implies that turmoil will spout from this decision of Macbeth to kill the king. And furthermore, time will run through the roughest day. This doesn't mention Macbeth. Therefore, time will emerge victorious at the end, and not Macbeth. And this shows animosity between them, and also sets up time as the antagonist to Macbeth, as the opposing force in the play. Next, in Act 4, Scene 1, lines 164 to 168, Macbeth says, "Time now anticipates my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is overtook, unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand." Now this directly expresses time and Macbeth as enemies. You can practically imagine Macbeth shaking his fist at the imaginary time. But so what? Why does this matter? This matters because time is the cause behind Macbeth's actions. And we know this because here, Macbeth says that the flighty purpose never is overtook unless the deed go with it, which means the pipe dream, the lofty ideal, never is accomplished unless you act on it, unless you're a man of action. And then he says, "From this moment, I will act impulsively. The second I think of it, the second my heart comes up with this scheme, I will act on it." And this is because in his past, when he doesn't act on his impulses and ideas, time works against him to make him feel guilty and to make him doubt his plans and his ideas. And plus, Macbeth doubted, and now the reader knows that he's not going to get away with it. He's going to fall. He's not going to have children who keeps the throne. Also, his fear of losing this opportunity causes him to act impulsively, which is a foolish decision that leads to his downfall. We know this because right after this quote, Macbeth decides to kill Macduff's entire household. I didn't include it here because I would be quoting the entire book, since it's way too much, since this motif is used 51 times throughout the play. But, so this is fresh in the audience's mind when they realize that he's going to kill Macduff. And this destabilizes his base amongst the other things, so they all vocally denounce him, and also it provides the inspiration or the revenge, the motive for Macduff to kill Macbeth in the very last act. Next, what confirms this is that fate, or time is fate, is that time is present in the first scene of every act in the entire play. This is critical because it shows that the witches in that time all influence the decisions and the actions of the play. Also, time is mentioned at all of the major moments of the plot. It is mentioned when Macbeth decides to kill the king, when Macbeth doubts his murderous plot, when Macbeth is summoned by the bell to kill Duncan, when Lennox mentions time right before the king is found dead, when Banquo is murdered, as we've discussed, when the ghost of Banquo plagues Macbeth, when Macbeth decides to kill Macduff's family, and when he actually does, when Malcolm decides to return to Scotland and dethrone Macbeth, when Lady Macbeth commits suicide, when Macbeth is slain by Macduff, and when Malcolm restores order and ends the play. Wow, every single major event. And this proves that time is the driving force throughout the play, because it's influencing all these events. But we know from the prophecies that fate is influencing the events. We all know this is deterministic, that fate is the driving force of Macbeth and that he has no choice. But if time is doing this, how can fate be doing it as well? Unless time represents fate. Therefore, the spiderweb effect of time as a motif throughout Macbeth, and as time's role as Macbeth's ultimate enemy, proves that time represents fate.